Okay, we're probably gonna put this on YouTube, so I'll address you guys as well. But we're just gonna go over some of the new patch notes that were released last night, or this morning. I've lost track with my terrible sleep schedule. But there's some class balances, mainly a class balance patch. There's some interesting stats and stuff in here I want to look at as well. But yeah, so yeah, it's mainly a class balancing focused patch. So that is mostly what we're going to be looking at. I'm actually going to skip this chart first because I want to come back to this after we see the all the balancing stuff here. So let's go down and we'll talk about the big one here, the Druid. The Druid has gotten a lot of heat lately, and it basically took over for Swordmaster in terms of probably one of the most hated classes out there right now. And they basically got a buff nerf. A nerf in some ways, but a buff in very clearly a buff in other ways. So we'll start off here. The Druid is getting the most significant changes in this update, which will break down into 3 parts. 1, passive skill predatory senses. So this is the wall hacks. This audacious and somewhat wildly designed passive made Druids exceptionally effective at gathering information. To balance their presence in high-end matches, we're reducing the clarity and speed of the information that they can gather, giving opponents a better chance to counter them. The vision effect of predatory senses will now display for 3 seconds every 5 seconds instead of being permanent. Perception radius is reduced from 30 meters to 25 meters. The detection red dots from predatory senses will no longer appear on the minimap. So I personally haven't played Druid enough to see these in action, but from my understanding, you basically have wall hacks. You can see people originally 30 meters away through walls at all times. Kind of ridiculous. It gave, obviously you had to be in your cat form, but it basically gave you wall hacks and complete awareness on every situation. You could be watching 2 people fighting it out on the other side of a wall, waiting till one of those things disappears, and you can go in and third party the weak one, stuff like that. Like, I don't understand why that was ever a thing. I don't understand why it's still a thing. I don't agree with this ability being in the game. That said, maybe it's fine that they didn't completely nerf it into the ground. I'm willing to give it a shot, give it some time to see how it plays out, but 3 seconds every 5 seconds, it's a nerf, but it still gives them full awareness pretty much. Like, you can still get all the information you need. Like, not even just with this, but you see 2 people fighting on the other side of the wall. Obviously that's just one example, but you see 2 people fighting on the other side of the wall for 3 seconds, and then it goes away, and then 5 seconds later you see them again. You can watch that, know they're fighting. You can watch the kill feed, see when one of them dies. It's very clear, like, whether one of them died or not within that 5 seconds, right? There's so much extra information you can use to even just the sound of somebody dying and all their items, when like a blue or a purple, that loud sound when they drop, you can hear that to get an indicator as well. You just, it's silly. I don't like this ability. It's nice that at least I didn't even know that they had red dots that showed up on your mini map too. So not only could you see them through the walls, and you could third person while in cat form to see around walls, but you could also see the dots on the mini map as well. It's all just a little ridiculous to me. I'm gonna try and give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe this will help. I don't know, but I think it's a terrible passive. But we'll see. Moving along to the next part of them, because everything in their kit was ridiculous pretty much. Mobility. This one for me was the biggest one. This was the most annoying thing. I didn't really have a problem killing druids, mainly as a fighter. My biggest issue for them was their ability to shed and just get away from everything. The fact that they could shed any debuffs. As a fighter, I would have my hamstring, which is the fighter strength passive, which when you, whether you're in whirlwind or using battle cry, if you hit them with a weapon, it slows them. I forget the exact numbers, but a slow. And then I'd have the thunderclap as another slow, and it would just never feel like enough. You'd hit them and they'd just go in panther form. They'd be in panther form and just leap away. So the only time I ever really killed druids is when they were overconfident and fully committed, and just stayed in my range and let me beat the hell out of them. That was really the only time I killed them. If they wanted to get away from me though, they were gone and I would never see them again. They're just, it was too much. So druids, okay. I was wondering why they were talking about information again. Druids' information gathering ability combined with their top tier mobility made them nearly impossible for melee classes to catch, leading to a very high extraction rate. Base movement speed in human and panther form is reduced by 20 points. Okay. Transformations will no longer clear debuffs, such as the slow effect from thunderclap flask. So that was another one too. It's like you thunderclap them, they just go cat form and it's gone, and they just leap off into the sunset and they're gone forever. And it was so annoying. Even like I run, most times I run crossbow on my fighter as well, and just I could hit them at times, but if they wanted to get away, they were just gone. There's no way I'm going to pick them off with a crossbow if they are half decent at their class. So it was just, yeah, it was too much. So I do very much like that they no longer can shed debuffs, because like that combined with the fact that they, even when they were slowed, they could just leap away and you could never catch them, was kind of ridiculous. So that's nice. The cooldown for the panther form's E skill Shadow Assault is increased from 5 seconds to 8 seconds. Again, one leap, they're so far out of my range, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Like an extra 3 seconds, I'm not catching up to them. It doesn't matter. Again, this is strictly coming from somebody that plays mainly melee classes, rogue, DK, fighter. I don't know how it is for other classes that might be a little bit more ranged, but yeah, it was super annoying as a mainly fighter. Nice changes. I don't know how much is gonna help. It might not help with this next bit, but we'll see. So here is where they decided to also buff them. Number 3, ferocity. With the above changes, druid players will need to take on more risk when engaging. Not really. They're still basically the same, but here we go. Therefore, we have increased the damage in panther form, aiming to reward druids for making bold decisions. The damage of the panther form E skill Shadow Assault is increased by 50%. The damage of basic attacks in panther form is increased by 20%. I don't know what to say about this. Those are big increases. 50% on an 8-second cooldown skill, and 20% on just basic attacks is kind of wild. Again, I'm willing to give these guys the benefit of the doubt and see how this plays out, but man, I feel like they could have just done 1 and 2. That might not have been enough, but it was a step, and they just didn't have to do number 3. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I don't know. Again, I'm going to give it time, see how it plays out, but I don't know if 3 was necessary. But here we are. Here we are. We've also been paying attention to melee classes. Currently played armor classes can deal a lot of damage up close, but lack flexibility and damage mitigation. We want to make them more resilient against agile opponents. Now, we'll talk more about it when I actually get there, but they're talking about this, but I feel like the balance is going to be skewed facing each other. They're talking about melee classes being better, more resilient against agile opponents, but then like fighter versus DK now, DK is actually getting quite a significant buff here, but we'll get to that. So fighter, increased base health by 10%. All right, I mean, I'll take it. It's better than losing 10% health, I guess. All right. Reduce the cooldown of E skill charge from 40 seconds to 30 seconds. It's nice. I'm into it. Charge is what I always use, and we'll get into why in a second. Charge is what I normally use, so use it 10 seconds sooner now. That's cool. I'm okay with that. Reduce the cooldown of E skill Inspire from 40 to 30 seconds. Increase its effective range from 2 meters to 5 meters. Now, here's what I have to say about Inspire. Again, as a fighter main, I've kind of taken a look at both of these skills to kind of see what I like better. Now, I just did some minor testing, but basically, Charge won't get you as far in the same amount of time. Whereas Inspire will. It gives you more movement speed, so you can move. You can technically move further with Inspire than you can with Charge. And the nice thing with Inspire is if you are playing in groups, it also affects your teammates as well. I forget the exact numbers. I want to say it's like 140, 150 movement speed that you gain from Inspire. So, I mean, if you're trying to chase down an enemy team or something, it's nice. That nice little movement speed to maybe catch up to them, whatever. It's cool. Here's the problem, though. Because it is a flat number of movement speed that it gives you, I personally find that with all the massive amounts of slows and thunderclap flasks and everything like that, that 140 movement speed is actually going to get nerfed a bit and just not quite be as good. There's just way too many slows, whether it's like the fighter slow, the DK slow, cryomancer slow, again, the thunderclap flask. There's so many slows that Inspire is going to get nerfed. I personally mainly play solos for one, but I personally would rather have Charge, which is a guaranteed movement. I know that if I'm slowed, whatever, I am going to move from this point to this point. It's a constant, right? I know what I'm getting out of it. Whereas with Inspire, yes, you're going to move. Technically, you're going to move further off an Inspire, and you could potentially help your teammates. Maybe it's better in duos and trios. I personally don't know, but even then, I still think I would rather have the Charge to be able to close that distance with like guaranteed set distance that I know I'm going to move. I don't know if it would be OP or too much, but I personally, again, I'm a little biased because I'm a fighter main. I would like to see Charge, maybe both, maybe Charge and Inspire, one or the other, or maybe just Inspire to make it a little bit more enticing. I would like to see that also include something where you either shed any movement speed debuffs or maybe gain resistance to movement speed debuffs during that. I forget the exact time of Inspire. It's not super long. I want to say it's like 3 seconds or something like that, 3-4 seconds, something like that. Something like that might be nice and make Inspire a little more appealing, but these changes, again, great, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's all that significant. 10 seconds between that when you got friggin' Panthers with 8-second leap cooldowns that also do damage when they land. Anyway, moving on to Death Knight. These Q skill Soul Shroud and Soul Storm now reduce incoming damage by 15% while active. Now, this is what I was talking about with basically kind of changing how things work in non-agile classes. So now me going in against the DK, that 10% extra health I have is probably pretty insignificant. When I go in, they pop this, they now take 15% reduced damage while doing damage to me, and potentially, well, this is right here, the potential upcoming change, considering speeding up the casting animation for DK's Soul Shroud and providing a stronger slow effect during its effect. So now they have a 15% increased increased damage reduction, while also having a slow, while also dealing damage to me. Like, it's nice for Death Knight because now you can pull people in and you're going to damage, you're going to slow them, and you're going to take less damage. So that's great. But I feel like that makes the matchup for fighter a lot tougher now. Which, again, I'm willing to give them time and see how it goes, but we'll see. It's great for DK. It's a nice little change for DK, but not so great for fighters. Mithril Zealot. Increased base health by 10%. Okay, kind of online with the fighter. They're basically basically a fighter. Reduce the cooldown of E skill Inspire from 40 seconds to 30 seconds. Basically the exact same thing as the fighter changes, except obviously they don't have the charge, so literally the same buffs that fighter got. Cryomancer. There was a bug where Cryomancer's stamina passive, Frost Echoes, and E-skill Ice Armor interaction caused higher than expected tankiness. We are fixing this issue in this patch, and we'll continue to monitor the Cryomancer's performance. The stamina passive Frost Echoes is changed to when allies deal unblocked active damage to targets affected by the Q skill, they gain a 40-point shield. This shield no longer stacks. I was testing it last night, I think. It was a 50-point shield, but I don't remember. I don't think it's stacked to begin with. Maybe they're just adding those words in now. But anyway, added an energy cost to the E-skill Ice Armor, which now consumes 25 soul energy per use. Potential upcoming changes. We're considering modifying the slow effect of Thunderclap Flask to last longer, but provide a less effective slow, ensuring it remains a useful tool for melee classes to chase their opponents while limiting the synergy between Thunderclap Flask and Lightning Staff. I don't know how I feel about that. Again, as a fighter main, as a melee main, Thunderclaps are like, I need them. I need them to catch people. I am just so slow as a fighter that I need those Thunderclaps. So I don't know. The thing is, with my fighter, typically I go for the hamstring ability, which is the slow when you hit with, basically when you hit with Whirlwind or when you hit with a weapon during Battle Cry. So typically I'll Thunder Flask, get in there and start hitting them, and then that applies my own slow to keep them slowed. So I don't know about them doing something where it lasts longer, but it's less effective. Because again, if they're still faster than me when they're slowed, because it's not as strong of a slow, it's gonna be harder to catch them. It doesn't matter how long it lasts. I'm just not gonna be able to catch them. So I don't know about that. But again, that's a potential change, so we'll see. Others added low quality crossbow and 15 bolts to the spawn and death compensation packs for characters that use crossbows. Death compensation packs? What is that? compensation packs? I don't even know what that is. I mean, I use crossbows, but I've never seen like a death compensation pack. Like I know when you die, you respawn, or well, you don't respawn, but you go back to the menu with your basic kit, right? But I don't know what that means. Let's take a little peek real quick. See, is it like something in here? No. I mean, if anybody knows what they're talking about, please feel free to let me know in the comments here. But I don't know what a death compensation pack is. I've got like 100 hours or so in this game, and I have no idea what that is. I don't know. Cool, I guess. Neat. Quick speaking on that. I know there was some issues with players not enjoying this restock, this weekly restock on the merchant for things like rusted swords, and for me it would be bolts. Like I usually bring 30 bolts in every time I use a crossbow. If I'm like grinding this game and just using bolts, if I'm having a rough time and I'm either dying a lot or shooting a lot and not getting them back, I don't know why there needs to be a stock limit on this. I mean, even rusted swords, I know some people run out on these if they're going real hard on Swordmaster, but all this other stuff I'm fine with having stock limits because you can just craft this. This stuff is so easy to craft, but I don't know about these. Even torches. Why is there a limit on torches? I don't ever use my torches, but like I don't know. Weird stuff. Anyway, bug fixes optimize several known localization issues. Okay, so let's go back up to this. Now obviously you'll see that there wasn't a ton of, not all the classes were touched on in there. We had what? Druid, Cryomancer, Death Knight, Fighter. I think that was it. So I want to look at this now. We highly value your feedback regarding class performance and continuously monitor the community's input. Combined with our data analysis, we aim to ensure each class has its unique strengths and identity while maintaining overall class balance. Make sure to check out the chart below for a detailed look at class performance statistics, which will give you a better idea of why we made these changes. So Druid, 12.8 or 12.18% pick rate. This is apparently level 20 characters, which, I mean, if you're playing the game, it's not really that hard to level to 20. It's pretty quick, and then if you grab those ascension potions as well, it's even easier. But a 54.2% extraction rate, which, I mean, is not surprising. I've seen potential stream snipers stream sniping another streamer as a druid. Their teammate died, and then they basically just go rat in a corner and wait for that team to leave. Maybe it wasn't stream sniping. Maybe it was just, again, they have wall hacks back then, at least. Well, they still do, but they basically just third-partied around a corner waiting and ratted until that team left, went, looted the rest of their buddies' stuff, and then left. So really not surprising that they have the highest extraction rate. Rogue, 19.94% pick rate. It's pretty up there. It looks like the most. Yeah, it's the most picked class with a 52.6% extraction rate. There is like details on this that probably would be significant here. Like obviously the druid, just they run a lot. And then same with rogue. Rogue's main thing is escaping. I'd be curious to see what the not that it's important, I already hate the leaderboard, but it'd be curious to see what their like kill death ratio kind of thing was. Like if they're getting kills while having the highest extraction rate. Rogue, I feel like rogues struggle. Like, I love playing rogue. I think they're fun, but I do feel they're a bit weak. And you have to play a very specific ratty hit and run kind of play style. So I'd be curious to see stats just in that sense there. Swordmaster, probably the original most hated class until Druid took over. 14.34%, 51.7% extraction rate. Again, not really surprising. I feel like they're a very strong class that probably still needs looking at, and there wasn't even any mention of them down here. Some of their stuff's a little wild, especially that 50% damage reduction on top of their normal damage reduction when they use their what is it? I don't know what it's called, but the spinning blade. Speaking of that, and Cryomancer, their dot, the Cryomancer dot, their Frost Curse, and the Swordmaster sword spin thing, the fact that they stay active after they die is so strange to me. I would like to see them get rid of that. I have almost died. Luckily, I haven't, but I have almost died to a Swordmaster and Cryomancer before after killing them, and they're either their dot's still ticking or I'm like standing on their body as I kill them, because usually I'm a fighter, and it's still hitting me and I'm like super low. I feel like those need to shed immediately when they die. Just to me, it makes sense that like the Cryomancer would have to channel that. If he's dead, he can't channel it. Swordmaster, he's controlling that blade. When he's dead, he can't control it. But minor nitpicks there, I guess. So yeah, Cryomancer, 14.38% pick rate, with a 49.7% extraction rate. So honestly, it's not too surprising to see, ignoring Rogue, the top three are some of the most complained about classes. Kind of makes sense to see them up here. Rogue is just up there because, again, they are fast, one of the most, if not the fastest moving class. So their disengage and escape is pretty up there, but not too surprising to see. Death Knight, 14.36% pick rate with a 49% extraction rate. I honestly feel like Death Knights are, I don't think they need anything really. Like, I really like playing Death Knight. The grab's super fun, stuff like that. I do think they're a strong class. It's just when you, in the grand scheme of things, when you have these other classes, they don't look as strong. But I feel like Death Knight is probably in a good place if it wasn't for the other classes. I'm gonna skip this for a sec because this is the main one I want to talk about, but we'll come back to that. Fighter with a 12.74% pick rate, 48.8% extraction rate. Again, I'm a fighter main. It's nice to see that we're being picked. But yeah, again, I feel like fighter, again, I'm biased, but I feel like fighter is in a pretty good spot too, just in general. But when compared to some of the other stuff, it feels like we're struggling to compete sometimes. Surprisingly, Pyromancer has a lower pick rate than I expected here, and a lower extraction rate. In the last test, I felt like they were super strong. Their ability to just nuke people was insane. But that was also when they were like double fisting staffs. They'd have like the two, what was it, the sun searing staffs or whatever, and just swap back and forth between the two, with their auto tracking fireballs and stuff like that. But yeah, it's interesting to see they have quite a bit lower of a pick rate here, as well as an extraction rate. Honestly, like, if I can catch them, it's usually game over for them. But that was always the hard part in the previous tests, was actually getting to them before they melted you with their with all their fiery stuff. But yeah, I don't know if they need anything. Again, that's the one class I've never actually played. I'm not usually a caster type, so I do have one made. I've just never played it, so I don't really have any input on this. But they weren't touched down here, so I'm curious to see what pyromancers think here. Now I want to go back to priest. Poor priest. 1.83% pick rate. So I don't know what masochists are playing this class to level 20. I think I got mine to 15, and that was a struggle. They again, I play 100% solo. They are the worst feeling class. I mean, I don't have a ton of experience with them, but from what I played, they felt terrible. Getting them to level 15, I felt like my heals were the most insignificant heals I have ever experienced in a healing situation. And the little like holy explosion circle, the heal and damage one, felt extremely underwhelming. But they, as a solo class, just felt absolutely terrible. You got in a fight with anybody and you were pretty much boned. I don't know how they'd be like super geared in end game kind of stuff, but man, did they feel terrible to play. I would like to see them now. Again, I know that priests aren't fighter classes, right? They're not a cleric. Clerics typically are basically like combat priests. So they're not a cleric, but I would like to see them get something that might help them a little bit in solo. I don't know what that would be. Again, I only got mine to 15, and that was, I didn't want to play it anymore. So I don't really know what that would be that would help them. Maybe there's some priest mains out there that might have some ideas for them. But yeah, they felt absolutely terrible. By far the weakest class. I don't even know how they had a 48.9% extraction rate. Because man, if I ever got into a fight in this game as my priest, again, this is level 20, so maybe they're a little more skilled at their priest play. But I don't think I won a single fight as priest. I don't want to say I'm the best player in the game. I think I'm decent and I can do well on any of the classes I played, but man, priest just felt so bad. But yeah, I would like to see them get some kind of love in the future to make them a little more viable in solo. I don't know how they are in teams. I've heard good things about them, like a few. I've heard like maybe 2 people say a good thing about them in groups. But yeah, solo, there, I wanted to level 1 up for potential group play in the future, but man, solo priest is, if you're into, I don't want to yuck anybody's yum, but if you're into some masochism shit, priest is for you. Play priest. You'll have a lovely time. But yeah, that's that's not all I wanted to talk about. Actually, there was something else I saw that was going to be all I talked about. Where is it? No, where did I see it? There's something else I saw. Oh, the content release roadmap. This I'd like to talk about as well. Just because even for me personally, I feel like I'm at a point now where like I've got a whole bunch of classes at 20 and it's just, I don't want to say I'm getting bored, but I'm getting bored. Without any like quests or anything like that, anything to give me guidance, something to chase. All it is go in, kill, fight, loot, get out. And that gameplay loop for me personally is starting to reach the end of its entertainment value for me personally. And I say that as somebody that likes to go in for PvP and stuff as well. I do chase fights and I am looking for fights every time I go in. That is my main my main content slash enjoyment of this game right now. See, I'm kind of getting towards the end of my entertainment value at the moment, so I would like to see more stuff coming up. So let's see what we have coming up here. Adventurers, the following is the content plan for the upcoming updates. We will regularly launch brand new constellation themed gameplay, like stars. Okay. Including career skill updates. What does that have to do with stars? Am I crazy? I'm thinking constellations like Orion's belt and shit. Including career skill updates. What does that mean? I don't know if they mean like class skill updates. Career skill? Anyway, time limited tasks and other new elements. Dungeons will be affected by ancient magic and will also undergo changes awaiting your exploration. At the same time, new cosmetic items will also be available for purchase in the store. July 31st. 2 days. To August 15th, Shadowbringer. New feature, weapon skins. Don't know if I would call that a new feature. I mean, I guess we don't have weapon skins right now, so I guess it's a feature being able to apply weapon skins, but I'd go light on the feature part of it. The store has added new bone and blood weapon skins. One-handed sword, dagger, crossbow, staves have arrived. Wait. Isn't there more than that? I saw like a beating heart thing, and are they only adding some of the weapons to start? Huh. Get them now and spread the terror and power of the dead to your enemies. New skill, Rogue's new skill. Rogue class has unlocked a new active skill that can provide unique bonuses to the entire team. Start an adventure and experience it with your friends. Oh, how mysterious. No idea what it is, but it's team-wide, whatever it is. Limited time event time trials. During the event, complete time trial or time limited and themed tasks to obtain unique head apparel. Don't miss out. Okay. Again, very vague, but it looks like you can obtain some kind of unique head skin. It's cool. I like cool shit. Dungeon mutation. Increased refresh rate of shadow portals. During this period, the refresh rate of shadow portals in dungeons will be greatly increased. Is your team ready to face the wrath of the vengeful monarch? I went in there once and got my ass beat to a pulp. I wasn't very geared. I felt like I hung in there for an okay amount of time, but man, doing that solo, I think I was a DK, so that helped a little bit, being able to AoE kill a bunch of the ads. But man, I got my ass beat. I would like to try that eventually, maybe quite a bit more geared solo, but I got my ass beat. Okay, August 15th to August 29th, Nature's Call. New game mode, Klothos Trial. The brand new game mode, Klothos' Trial, is about to go online. In this mode, you will compete with the most powerful opponents across the entire game to prove your strength. Ascend to Klothos' throne and win unique rewards. So again, super vague here. That's basically the same theme they were talking about before. If you look in the selection here in competitive, this image here with the little Pegasus, that's basically what they use in the other stuff to advertise Klothos' Trial. So it's something that's going to be competitive, and the way they talked about it sounds like that's the case. But I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be some kind of King of the Hill kind of thing, because it's talking about ascending the throne and stuff like that. We know the unique rewards if you go into cosmetics. Where's that? Into the kill effects, the Lucky Strike gold coins. rewards from Klothos's trials. Same with the platinum coins. So I assume those are going to be the unique things. I don't know if that money thing is going to be a part of it at all, but again, they've been very vague with this so far, so we'll have to see. Store update, new weapon skins. The store has added new Blood and Bone set weapons. Two-handed swords, ritual weapons, one-handed hammers. Shields have been added. Brand new hunter pirate themed head. Well, I don't know where I got the word theme, but I'm putting it there. Head apparel items are also available. Come play as your unique self. I don't know why they're splitting those up. I don't know what the 31st to the 15th is this set of weapons, and then the 15th to the 29th is the other bit. I don't know. I guess just to extend the excitement of Bone and Blood. I don't know. But anyway, there's where the other ones went. Yeah, I was looking for the ritual weapon. I think that's the beating heart thing, which was cool. I don't know if I'm into the whole Blood and Bone thing, but that's just me. New skill, Druid's new skill. Oh boy. Druid's class will gain a unique new skill, providing more variables and choices for combat. Stay tuned. Again, super vague. No idea what that is. Maybe new forms. This is talking about new, more variables and choices for combat, and really, I guess their tree is technically combat. I don't know what that could be. It's a druid though. My guess would be new forms. Maybe bear form. I don't know. Limited time event time trials. Description: new theme tasks are now available during the event. Complete time limited and theme tasks to obtain unique. Didn't we just read this? I guess there's a second set 2 weeks later, hopefully with new headgear, something to do again. I don't know. Considering the uniqueness and rarity of legendary and unique equipment in the game, we hope to allow players to maintain the excitement of using such equipment. Weapon skins in the game will not apply to legendary and unique equipment. I think that's good. Yeah, I think that's good. Again, the unique and legendary weapons have their own distinct look already. I think they should stay that way. I know I've seen people talking about these skins making it harder to tell what your opponent has or something like that. Because like heirlooms, you can kind of tell the difference between heirlooms and normal weapons. That might be something too. Maybe they don't let you put it on heirlooms. They haven't said that, but that might be something too. But yeah. As compensation, we plan to upgrade the art quality of existing legendary and unique quality equipment. This will take some time and will be released gradually, but please believe that the new legendary and unique equipment designs will definitely bring you surprises. You say so. There you go. Nothing crazy there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this Klothos' trial is going to be. To me, that might be the only real interesting thing here. I mean, the limited time quests are cool. It's something. Oh, I guess those are probably the headgears, eh? The hood with the bird mask and the deer skull looking tribal headgear. Those might be the two unique headgears. But hey, something to chase. I'm okay with that. I'll be curious to see what this new rogue skill is. The fact that it's a team-wide thing might not be very exciting though, so we'll have to see how that goes. Druid new skill, who knows? We'll see where Druid's at in, when is that going to be? 15th? What are we, a couple of weeks from now? We'll see where Druid's at in a couple of weeks with the new thing. The dungeon mutation thing with the shadow portals. I mean, again, unless you care about fighting the Vengeful Monarch, this is just irrelevant. But yeah, there's something coming at least. But yeah, that's it for now. I think that's all I wanted to touch on. Yeah, that's basically it. Let me know what you guys think down below. There's some changes, some good changes, some maybe not so good changes. I know some people, priest mains, I appreciate you. I feel your pain. I hope you guys get some love eventually. But yeah, let me know what you think down below, and I'll catch you all in the next one.